What's up, beautiful people? You already know this is your boy Levar, aka Ramzie, the editor-in-chief of Snubb Magazine, and today we have a very special guest that's going to be sitting with us on the sit down. As you all know, I don't introduce the guests introduce themselves. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and let our guests introduce themselves to everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. My name is Victor Solomon. I currently reside in Los Angeles, California. I'm an artist, a gospel artist, soul artist. I just recently came off of season 23 of American Idol, where I placed in the top 20 and also a top five finalist on season 20 of The Voice. So thank you for having me here today, man. I'm super, super excited to chop it up with you.
Definitely, definitely. So let's start it off where it all began. Actually, I'm gonna take it back. I actually ran into you at my sis concert, who I like we've known each other since we were little.
Okay.
Jay Nova, we know each other since we were young. So then
Yeah.
you popped on the stage. I'm like, yo, this dude is shutting it down. And then I went back and I was like, yo, I've been following him for a minute
Wow.
and everything. So it's dope to like see how things circle back around on things.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's dope as that. Let's start off with where it all began for you. As far as when did you know you had a gift that you could sing? And not just sing, it's a people can get on the mic and just sing
Mhm.
a song, but you know how we say in our culture, you can sing. So
Right,
you
right.
so at what point did you know that that gift was handed to you?
Man, I want to say it was a process. But I would say the initial start of that process started when I was about like six or 7 years old. I used to sing in church, in the Sunshine Band. I used to also sing in school as well. So when I would sing at church, when I would sing at school, I would just get mad compliments. And then even before that, I would sing at home around the house. And one time I was in a room singing with my sister, and she stopped me. She was like, "Victor, you sound like the people in the videos." And I was like, "Hey, that's kind of cool," because 106 in Park, we just used to
Yeah,
always run
yeah,
the videos at the time. So she's like, "You sound like the people in the videos." I said, "Oh, bet." All right. So that's when I really recognized and realized that I had the talent.
right.
Would say it probably took me until maybe my high school years to realize that it was a gift about how I could sing and minister to people. And yeah, it's just been a growing progress ever since then. So now I think that the gift and the talent that I have is far more than what I was blessed with in the beginning, because it's all about stewardship and perfecting the craft. So yeah, that's how it started for me, man.
Definitely. And a lot of people, a lot of us in the industry have started off in the church, which is
Yes, sir.
crazy. So most of us all are somehow tied in the church or PK
Yeah.
kids or, it all comes together. Um, the moment, because you've been on two, we're going to use the two major shows that
Mhm.
everybody loves to watch. What was that journey like for you, when you received word that you were going to be, you can go with the first show that you were on. Um, what did you feel in those moments? Like I told you previously before we started this, I had worked on Sunday's Best, and I know how the process is. A lot of people don't know there's sometimes three different processes that happen before you hit the main stage,
Yeah.
and how long these lines really are,
Right,
and how long
right,
you're there for the day, stuff
right.
like that. So,
Yeah.
what was the process like for you when it came down to it, and when you received the news that you was going to be on, well, you was on both main shows. So, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so I'll start with The Voice. So I mean, in 2019, I went to New York to audition in person. That's when I think that was one of the last like in person, those long lines, thousands of
Yeah.
people outside. It was cold in New York. It was in January. And that was my first time ever auditioning for The Voice. And I went in and I didn't make it. I did sing Glory. I didn't make it past the first round. That was cool. I was like, all right, whatever. So went back home following the next year, 2020 in May, right after school had ended. I got a message from one of the talent producers for The Voice, and they DM'd me and asked me to audition. So this time around, they asked me to audition instead of me, going out my way to audition. So that was pretty cool. At first I thought I was a scam because I'm like, man, what? Like they asking people to audition now? Like what's going on?
Right.
Yeah, so I did my research on the guy who was reaching out to me, and it was all legit. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just do it. I sent all of my information in, met him on Zoom, sent him 3 videos, and that was it. I did take a break. I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't want to do it. Like after I had submitted everything, I think it was like June, and I just didn't do anything. I ain't talked to him for like a month. And then at the end of June, beginning of July, I was like, you know what? Uh, I think I want to do it. Like, let me just do it. Like I prayed to God about it because at the time, like I said, growing up in church and someone who's a believer and a Christian, singing secular music wasn't always welcomed in my household. So I
Right.
knew that going on that show, I would have to sing songs other than gospel. And then fast forward to actually me recording my first single. I was in the studio, and that's when I got, that was in September of 2020. That's when I got the actual phone call that I was going to be on the season. They were going to fly me out there to audition for the blind auditions in front of the coaches. So that was crazy, man. It was like, I couldn't believe it. Cause mind you, like I said, like after I told him that I wanted to do it again in July, he let me know that he was glad to have me back on board. And then after that, I didn't hear from him. And then I just got a call out of nowhere. So I was ecstatic, bro. I was happy.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you touched on something that many of us sometimes go through, even being in the church room.
Mhm.
Um, we have those doubts that come in our heads like, nah,
Oh,
I can't do this, or what they gonna think,
all
like,
the time, man.
and once I do this, like there's been many times with the publication, I've turned around, I've sat like, and I'm like, yo, I already know like my parents are gonna get that phone, they gonna call.
Mhm.
And it still happens like as if like I'm a little kid or something.
Yeah.
That you just gonna feel like you gonna get a whole collapse on you. But then also it's
Yeah.
like a reassuring that happens when you do put the art out there, the
Mhm.
response you get. And sometimes it's you, of course, you don't have negative people saying what they want to do, but then you have the other side of it where people are, I needed this, I needed to,
Right.
or you pushed me into that
Exactly.
this new
Inspired or something
experience,
like that. Yeah.
inspiring, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
Um,
I also add in, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I
are
also
you
added
good?
the American Idol journey too, because after my success on The Voice, I was top five, the finalist on John Legend's team, and I still have that connection with him. I still, keep in touch with him. And so like now, fast forward to last year, and I want to say November or October, they American Idol reached out the same way The Voice did. Um, and at first, I had always said I would never do it because I made it all the way to the end on one show. I was successful. But the only reason why I decided to do this time around on American Idol was because I'm working on music, working on the project. So I'm like, why not get more people, on
Exactly.
board? By the time I come off the show, or at least around the time I come off the show, I'll have some music out, so we can get more, more people on board with what I got going on over here. So that's ultimately how I decided to do that, and that was, like I said, she emailed me, then we went on to audition on Zoom, and then right in front of the judges on TV. So yeah, it was pretty great experience, man. It was one of my favorites. One thing that I can definitely say is a once in a lifetime opportunity for sure.
Right. And you kept, like you said, you kept the network with the people that you were, who you were working with, and that a lot of people sometimes they think that, oh, just because it's not for me at that moment, it's not
Yeah.
going to happen. And it's like, sit back, let me handle this. I got
Yep.
you. Like, you never know how everything's going to align for you in the end, you know? And I think I mean, you touched on something because a lot of people would have gave up. A lot of
Mhm.
people would have been like, you know what, I'm good. Like, or they wouldn't know how to continue it
Yeah.
once they get it. I've seen several people that will go on these shows and don't maximize
Yeah.
themselves when it comes down to it. They'll just be like, okay, well, I was this person on the show. And then I was thinking like, well, what happened to this
Yeah.
artist? Where they went?
Right.
So it's dope to see that you continued that. And even now, like I said, even seeing you on the stage previously, like you could still see like the energy is still
Yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? No matter how big or small the sizes are, people,
Mhm.
you keep the same energy all the way around.
Yes, sir. Got to, man. It's
Yeah,
important. I always pride myself in, I won't say pride myself, but I always make sure that I remain who I am, on and off the camera, in front of people, and at home. So it's always a goal for me to leave a lasting impression, whether it's through my music or just through my personality or just getting to know somebody. So that's always been a goal, man. So I appreciate that.
definitely. What is something you've learned navigating in this industry? You know, we sometimes have our low days, we have our high days. I'm really big on mental health when it comes down to myself. There's some times where I tell people like I'm gonna turn my phone off.
Hmm.
I need to literally remove myself and get back in my creative bubble
Hmm.
that I have, and I close off all the noise and let it just let it do what it do.
Absolutely.
What is that like for you navigating in this part of the industry? Because as you continue to rise up, you know,
Mhm.
more and more things start to happen with our lives. So what is that like for you?
Yeah, I would say, man, it's just all about just staying prayerful, like keeping God at the forefront of my life. When I wake up praying, when I go to sleep, I'm praying, when I'm, making sure my worship life is like the main thing that is in front. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all of these things shall be added unto you. So that's one thing that I constantly think about when I seek God, when I seek his face, then everything else that I need will come. And also, with the stress and all of that stuff. Like right now, like there has been some letdowns and some things like that. But it's like I said, it's all about just trusting God and trusting the process. I do realize that I'm in my journey right now.
Right.
Like I haven't arrived. And even once I do get to a place of hope of where my goals are, it'll still be more progression after that. So it's just one thing to realize that it's my story in the making right now. And one thing you asked, what's one thing that like I've learned, man, like I've learned that like nobody's going to do anything for you. Like nobody's going to do anything for you, man. Like you gotta go out there and make your dreams happen. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that like I'm really like honing in on because when I moved out here to LA 3 years ago, I was the first year I was, just I kept my head down and working my 9 to 5. And then that second year, I'm like, okay, like I'm meeting people, like I met some amazing people. They know these people, like what? And I was just like, okay, like, what kind of gift I have, what kind of talent I have, like, why you ain't like putting me on?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, and now I'm like, that's not how it's gonna go. It's so many people out here with the same dreams, with the same goals. But what sets us all apart is the tenacity, the work ethic, the hustle, and actually getting up and making your dreams come true on your own. Like right now, I'm trying to work on music, and I'm like, you know what? I'm waiting on this producer, but it's like, bro, like I can't wait on this producer. Like I gotta learn to craft myself now, or I
Yeah.
gotta reach out to somebody else, because I do believe in collaboration. I do believe in community. And I do believe in, somebody else with their gifts and us putting our gifts together to make this masterpiece. But at the same time, like, can't sit around waiting for somebody to do something for you. So that's like my main lesson for real.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that because I tell that to many people when it comes down to it is you have to know when to let certain people go. Because
Oh
some
yeah,
people keep on lagging on and be like, oh, I know you, and I know you. And it's like, yeah, you know me, but bro, you haven't helped me with anything. Even if it's just sometimes even just coming over here and talking to me while I'm writing something or
hmm,
doing something, like people don't understand. Like we need those things sometimes. But if you're
yep,
not there, you are blocking. You are literally blocking. And I'm not trying to be mean, but
yep,
you're
yep.
blocking my flow at this moment,
Yeah.
you know?
No, that's real. That's real because I've even been in studios where I'm like, I take my space very, very, like very serious,
Yeah.
especially when I'm in a studio, because the studio is a very vulnerable place for me. And especially when I'm writing, what I'm thinking about, how I'm like all of it. So if I have people coming in the studio that I don't know, I gotta find some way to check out who they are. And I'm not trying to say check temperatures, but like really like check the
You
temperature,
have
like
to,
see
yeah.
who you are, like where do you come from. And after a while, like I would notice like, nah, dog, you're not supposed to be in this room. And I will be good with like never ever running into you again. And not because they were mean, not because they were, but it's just like we not even on the same level. I'm not trying to come off like that, but your purpose does not align with my purpose, and
Yeah.
your gift does not align with the gifts and the vision and the journey and what God has given me. So I just realized like early on, like, you know what? Is cool, but nah, we good. And I'm glad you said that because a lot of people will just think that this everybody is a part of the journey, and that's not the case. You got to be able to let some people go too.
I tell people all the time that even when we come on set, there's been times that I won't even pull out. There's been covers that we shot, and I to
Hmm.
this day have not pulled them out because I'm like, this is not. I could look at the pictures later on and be like, nah, we
Yeah,
can't. And they're like, why we can't put it out? And I'm like, because this is like you could feel the energy sometimes through just basic things, and you're like, this isn't us. There's been
yeah.
times I've been on set, like I will stop the whole set and be like, we gotta pray. Something's
Wow.
off. Like
Yeah,
we do stuff like that. Like that happens because and everybody's like, this is a photo shoot. I don't care. Like something is like I don't know if y'all have beef or what's
yeah,
I don't know the inside or you just read a text message, but something just shifted.
yeah.
And I tell people all the time, that's come sometimes in the gift. You can
Mm.
feel things when it happens. You're like, whoa,
Learn it.
like I could be literally just eating on a set and be like, something's off.
Yeah,
Like y'all just are moving weird right now. This is not happening, you know? And people don't understand, like, you're not gonna mess up something that was given to me. It's my gift. This is
yeah,
what I'm sharing to the world. And other people can feel it later on. They're like that. But when you watch shows on TV, you know when people aren't, they're not acting together. You're like, this is so off.
yeah.
What
Right.
you know? So
What's going
that
on behind the scenes, G?
right, like this don't even match correctly. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yes, sir.
Got a couple more questions for you. As far as what's coming for you, you talk about an album.
Mhm.
Um, have you thought about like when you're gonna be releasing it? If you can give us that information or what's going on with that?
No dates as far as yet. When
When it
as
happens, it happens.
when the album will be released, because it will obviously be my debut album, and it's the first thing. It's kind of like my introduction to the industry, with my own personal art. So it has to be right. I'm going definitely going to take my time with it, and make sure the right people, like I said, are involved on it, in it, around it. So that's something, but definitely still working on music. I cannot wait for y'all to hear the new sound. I'm praying that it is God ordained and that it will just transform the world, honestly. And then I got some other things on the side, continuing to travel. I'm doing a tour coming up in October through November.
Sure.
With the suits, there's this company that I work for out here in LA as well. And it's the suits, it's like four genres. So we do Motown, pop, rock, and doo-wop music. And I represent the Motown era. So we're touring the Midwest, so that'll be fun. That's something that definitely be on the lookout for. And then I got some shows on the East Coast coming up. And then I got some stuff in North Carolina as well. Homecoming season is approaching.
You already know
So
how it is,
forward to
right?
that.
You.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then this weekend, actually, I'm actually looking forward to traveling to Nashville for the Stellars. So that'll be great. It'll be my first time at the Stellars, and I actually have a great gig. I'll be hosting a red carpet this year, so it's pretty cool. And also the pre-show. So I'm looking forward to that. Nervous but excited for sure.
Nah, be excited about that. We've been there several times. Supposed to be there this year.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it
Okay.
should be a good experience. Don't hold back. Now it'll be
Yes, sir.
chaotic, but
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
hold back.
Okay.
That's a little tip for you right there.
Okay.
You know how the gospel world can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So be
Jesus.
prepared. That's all I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
Okay. Yeah.
But definitely enjoy it. Definitely take it all in. As far as um as we were speaking about how like the industry is and what you've done on American Idol, on The Voice, and you putting out an album, what do you say to individuals? Because whether or not you know it, you're now a role model. Before then, you was a role model with other accolades that you did as well,
Yeah.
but now you're on a new scale.
Mhm.
What do you say to those people that are looking up to you, like, you know what, I want to get to that level one day. How do I get there? What do I need to do? What do you say to those individuals?
And I say it's all about just staying true to who you are, being open also to growing and and thinking outside of the box. Because the way that I grew up was very traditional. Like I said, didn't really listen to a lot of secular music. But when I moved to North Carolina for school, that's when my brain like just expanded, like the capacity of just creativeness and artistry and all of that stuff. So I would just say stay true to who you are, keep God first, and everything that you do and say, and then also just don't be afraid to take risks. Like when I moved out here, I did not have a place to stay. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a real like industry job. Like I was coming out here for my dreams. I didn't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So it's about taking those risks and believing in yourself. You know what I mean? Like every single day, like I said, you have to make it happen for yourself. But not only that, work on your craft. Like you have to be great at what you do. You have to be different from other people. You have to leave a lasting impression. You have to be impactful as well. So that's my little 2 cents for somebody who's out there listening and have a desire to grow in whatever capacity that they want to do, whether it's music or corporate, whatever the case. So yeah.
Definitely. In Snub, we have the letter three. So these are the last three questions. So
Okay.
these three questions are random on how we
Okay.
do it. So the first question that we usually ask is, what's three words that describe who you are as an individual? And I'm gonna pick one of those words.
Okay. 3 words. 3 words. I would say, whew, it's a lot of words I'm thinking about, but what I want to stick out. I'm gonna just say outgoing. I will say outgoing, genuine, and da, 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 da. Let's just say loyal.
Okay. Why did you choose genuine?
I would say genuine because that's very important to me. Like genuine hearts, genuine souls are very important because a lot of people have ulterior motives,
Yeah,
whether it is, whatever the case. And I've ran into a lot of people like that. And I'm very grateful that I have a genuine heart and I know who I am. So that's why I just want, like, that's why I say that. Like, it's important for me to be genuine. And I think I want to just encourage anybody who's out there listening to just remain a genuine soul. Like, there's a lot of turmoil and problems and a lot of just darkness going around in this world. So
yeah,
you got to stay true to who you are and true to what you believe in, and just how you were raised ultimately. So yeah, genuine.
definitely. What is one individual, past or present,
Mhm.
who would you want to be for one day in their shoe and why?
Who would I want to be?
Like if you could put on anybody's shoes for one day and be like, you know what, I want to see what this was.
That's a great question. I never thought about that before. Like, who would I
We
want to
throw we
be?
always throw little curveballs like
Yeah.
you.
I would say somebody who's in the industry, but I mean, I think that eventually I'll get there anyway. But I think that something that I would probably never do is be the president of the United States. So maybe Barack Obama just to see because I understand that he's a very, smart individual.
Right.
Um, and I love like learning, I love knowledge. So outside of the music, I would probably say maybe Barack Obama or Will Smith. I love Will
Okay.
Smith. I think he's a
Okay.
very wise individual too, and I think he's the closest to somebody who I desired to be when I was a young kid.
Right.
And I love wisdom. Like I said, I love knowledge, and I make this joke sometimes that I'm related to King Solomon in the Bible because my last name is Solomon. So I would just say, just because Will Smith is, he's wise, he's smart. I used to watch interviews about him, growing up and just how he used to think and his thought process. So maybe Will Smith. It would just do Will Smith. Just because I know he got a lot going on in his head now. But before, yeah, maybe we'll say Barack or Will Smith. We'll just say that.
Cool, cool. And what's some last words that you could give to anybody that's out there today? Just some words of inspiration, to just throw out there because we are a positive platform, so we like to put out a word out to everybody. What's some words that you can give to them?
Yes, sir. Not too long ago, I ran across this quote or this theory of closing the gap. And essentially, that is where you are and where you want to be. And every day you are doing something to close the gap of who you are right now and where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So every day you wake up, just think about something that you can do to close the gap. And I think discipline is one of the main things that we can do to serve ourselves.
All right.
Because 5 years or 10 years from now, man, it'll be a whole nother show. It'll be a whole nother person. It'll be a whole nother series. So close that gap and take some discipline, learn some discipline each and every day. And I think you will end up in a place that you want to be. And also keep God first, like I said.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I thank you for taking the time out to speak to us today on the sit down. I'm grateful, appreciate it. Both HBCU alums.
Sir.
They both
Which HBC you go to? I'm sorry to
I went
interrupt.
to Howard.
You're the Howard.
But
Okay. I
yeah,
went
but
to,
I
I went
did. So I
to,
crossed. I crossed in South Carolina,
okay.
at Morris College or something, South Carolina. Then my program got shut down, and then I moved up here to Howard. So I finished up at
Gotcha.
Howard. I
Gotcha.
came my soft. sophomore year, yeah.
Okay,
So
bet.
mid of sophomore year, like right after I cried, I was so upset, man. I
Yeah,
was chapter
I
president,
bet.
everything. I was done. Yeah,
Wow,
it
that's
was,
crazy.
but
That's
yeah, God
crazy.
had a different
Shout out
plan.
to the real HU, right? The real
Right.
HU.
Hello, hello, not HI, HU.
Right, right.
But yes, we know homecoming season coming up, so we all get ready for that mentality. So yeah. But
Yes,
yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully one day we can, put together a shoot or something. I don't know, something else out there. Like we said, I love positive energy people and you give that. And I appreciate that. Like I said, I saw you on stage and in person, and it was a phenomenal experience. So anybody that's out there that goes to the tour, definitely support.
yes,
But yeah, thank you again. We greatly appreciate it. And like I said, hopefully in the future we cross paths again.
yes, sir. I
All
appreciate
right.
you. Thank you so
Ab-
much for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Take